Hi, everyone. My name is Reverend Bonnie Rose, and I'm your host for today's episode of Our Ventura TV. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Toni Vanston, who is the founder of DaisyLu Ranch, which is a senior dog rescue, hospice, and sanctuary. Welcome, Toni.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for joining us. So, Toni, let's just hear a little bit about how DaisyLu Ranch got started.
Okay. Well, let's see. It started, where do I start? It could be a long story, but I'll keep it short.
Okay.
So, let's see. I fell in love with dogs when I was in my 40s when I found my first dog, Daisy, right here.
Sweet.
And she was a stray. And I tried my best to try to find her a home or a rescue or somebody to take her from me because I wasn't a dog person at that time. I was more of a cat person. And a few days went by, and all the rescues kept saying, we're full, we can't take dogs right now. So, and obviously I didn't want to take her to the shelter. So anyway, by the time 2 weeks passed, we fell in love with her. My husband and I fell in love with her. And so we ended up keeping her. And that's my love affair with dogs started. And then I also didn't know anything about the pit bull breed. And I think I had the kind of usual reaction people have to pit bulls, like they could be dangerous dogs, and found out they're not. They're wonderful dogs. It's just about how you treat them, how you raise them. So I started volunteering for different rescue groups and going to adoption events. We started fostering dogs, and I just completely fell in love. Still love cats. I still have a cat right now, but dogs was my passion. So many years of fostering dogs, and then I got into volunteering at the shelter. At the local shelter in LA is where I lived. And this is when I saw old dogs being dumped. Every day, senior dogs were being dumped by the owners, or there were strays. And for whatever reason, you know, medical bills, or they're moving, or they want to get a puppy. Dog's old, we're going to get a puppy now. And I just felt so sad for these dogs. And I thought someday I want to have a place where I could bring these dogs home. So that was 2010 maybe. And it was a dream. I thought someday I'd love to do that, but probably never happened. And then one day my husband and I were talking, and he said, you know, you have to do what you love. You have to follow your passion. So that was in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic episode, you know, when it was at the deepest part of it. We decided to buy a property here in Camarillo. And I started my own 501c nonprofit at that point and called it DaisyLu Ranch. Daisy after Daisy, and then Lulu was my second dog. So DaisyLu Ranch. And yeah, so that's how it started. And 3 years later, here I am. I think I've rescued almost 150 dogs in that time. And I like to focus on hospice dogs from the shelter, the dogs that nobody wants, the dogs that are on the red list, meaning they'll be euthanized any day. Those are the dogs I try to focus. But in the meantime, I'm getting a lot of calls from people that are needing to give up their dogs. I think since the pandemic, people are having problems keeping their animals. So I'm starting to help out people in need, you know, people that are retiring and can't take their dogs with them, or the parents died and the family can't take the dogs. A lot of situations like that. And I'm taking older dogs. So sometimes I get dogs that are older, but not hospice, and actually quite adoptable, you know, maybe between 10 to 13 years old. So those dogs I try to find homes for.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful calling. Thank you so much for doing that. You know, I'm curious, like, is it difficult for you to have all these senior dogs? Because I'm sure, you know, a lot of them pass away, particularly because you're doing hospice. How is that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's, everybody says, I don't know how you do it, but it is very, very hard. But that's the part that gives me satisfaction, is just seeing that they are taken care of, and that their needs are all taken care of, that, you know, I'm getting their vetting done, I'm getting their pills given to them, I'm feeding them. And the hardest part is figuring out, when is it time for them to go? I don't want their suffering to start. I don't want to let them go when it's too early. So that balance of finding that time that's right to let them go is very, very hard. And I just did that yesterday with one of my Chihuahuas.
You know, go ahead. Sorry. Okay. I was going to ask you about that, because I think so many people, including myself, struggle with learning when is it time to let a dog that has
Sure.
loved and served you for their whole life, when is it really time to let them go? So how do you
It's
know? What's your technique?
I don't know if I have a technique. I just watch them. Obviously stop when they stop eating.
Mm.
You know, towards the end, they'll stop eating their regular food. So then I'll introduce things like roast chicken or hamburgers, and they'll eat that up. Even if they're sick, they'll eat that up. But once they start saying no to even that,
Mm.
for sure, that's a good sign. Their energy level is down. Um, with the dog yesterday, I could just see her breathing was starting to get labored. You know, I think their heartbeat can tell their heart's beating a little harder and faster.
Mm.
And I can just see that they're uncomfortable.
Mm.
And I have a wonderful service called Lap of Love. There are doctors that come to the house
Mm.
for euthanasia. And it's so peaceful. They come in, the dogs basically just go right to sleep and they don't feel a thing. It's just a very peaceful ending. So I'm happy that I can provide that for them, even though it's hard.
Yes, I'm sure it's hard and it's a beautiful service, and I'm sure that the dogs appreciate you, as do many people, because it is such a tragedy to think of old dogs in the shelter not getting the love that they need in this precious time of their life. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And I know it's got to be hard for people that had their dogs, you know, their whole lives. Let's say the dog's 15, they've had them since they were a puppy. It's heartbreaking. It's totally heartbreaking. But I really thank people that do that, because the dogs that I have are the people that are unable to do that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you to the people that will keep their dogs until the very end.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
happy about that.
So, you know what? We're almost out of time. That went really quickly.
Oh my
So,
God.
if people want to learn more about DaisyLu Ranch, where would they get in touch with you?
Well, my website is DaisyLuRanch.org. And there you can see all the adoptable dogs. You can see my story, and you'll see, you know, ways to contact me there. And obviously a donate page is very big and prominent there because I do survive on donations alone. So yeah, all the
Yeah.
dogs are taken care of by donations that I receive,
Oh,
and it's been
wow.
very good. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Toni, thank you so much for the beautiful work that you do. And I just want to thank you on behalf of me and our Ventura TV and our viewers. And to all of our viewers, thank you so much for watching. And may you have a beautiful day. Take care until next time we meet again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.